Hi, welcome back to a long overdue video on my Saab 900 1986 16S Turbo Aero SPG, as it's known in the United States. A few things have happened apart from some terrible weather. That's why I'm late making the video. Uh, if Yesterday was absolutely horrendous, we had massive floods. If you search Bridgewater Canal and Meadow Mill in Stockport, there was hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of cars that were submerged due to flooding. So, and today, oh yeah, and the canal, Bridgewater Canal, that collapsed. So that's in a terrible state. If you search that, there's some videos on YouTube. So today started off at I think it was -2, and it's still frozen as we speak. But I thought I'd give you a quick update and a quick walk around of where we sort of are with the car. So checking over the bodywork, we've got uh, the uh, the kit's loose. I've got the petrol cap. That's all sorted. I've got the car up on axle stands at the moment. I gave it a bit of a clean today just to see what the general bodywork's like. A lot of this staining you can see is where I put rust killer on just to keep it at bay before I get to it. I've started to strip down the front end, and this obviously mine's right-hand drive, so the driver's side this is the driver's side wheel arch, front wheel arch. What an absolute pig. I've never known nuts so tight in all my life, whereas the left-hand side, which I've temporarily stripped down and just did a quick renovation just to keep everything at bay, that was fine. But this side has been an absolute nightmare. But this side obviously is the worst side, and this is what I need to get to. So uh, looking inside the wheel arch, uh, we've got a bit of hole, a small hole there, small hole underneath. That side is it's all lovely and solid. Uh, it goes to about there where the steering rack comes through, and then underneath, that's all missing. That's a strong point because up there is the suspension turret in the engine bay, and that has got to be strong. Moving round, this bottom edge has all gone, but it should come to about here. We've gone in the wheel arch, and probably behind this aero front aero molding. That's just dropped down is the underneath below the battery box, which it's what I'm going to do with all this, to be honest with you. So this bit here, these are your lower wishbone mounting points. There's 6 of them. They were really easy to come off. Everything else was a pig. The spring and inside the actual wheel arch itself, I mean, it's all lovely and solid. The outside of the wheel arch, which are normally rotten, the front wing it's all really good condition. Now that bit there at the bottom, where the wishbone, I've got the repair panel for that, and obviously this is around the drive shaft tunnels. That's the repair panel for that. Wherever it goes, I can't remember where it goes. Probably like that. So, but I don't, honestly, looking at it, I don't think I'm going to need it. I might need parts of it, but I mean, I've only got this small section, which is more like an L piece. If I get it to here, then I've got a good dating point for the front. Now, the other side I mean, it does need which is the near side, passenger side, does need a bit of welding, but it's nowhere near as bad as this side. Uh, Now, around now to the front, I've eventually got the front end off. Now here, this is where this obviously is where the rot is. That's the bottom of the underneath the battery box. and then I'll show you in a minute. Along here, from at the back there, that's the suspension turret. Along here, there should be a tubular beam that's attached to the front beam. Now, the front main cross member. What a state! It's in two pieces. This is like a skid panel, and obviously you can see in here it's bead rolled, which I've got a bead roller on the 84 to 86 and probably earlier cars. Different suspension mounting, gearbox mounting. So I've got to really try and retain all these datum points, and I'm still in the process of either trying to find one for my donor, or in two minds of whether to try and keep as much originality and cut, grind, weld, shot blast what I've got left. This corner here, see up to here, we're all right. We'll probably get away with up to there with the patch in there. The top's quite solid. The back's gone, and the front lip's gone. But I have seen people actually rebuild all this section. I presume this is, again, it's quite thick steel. It's probably 2 mil, 2.2 mil. Again, this side were quite solid. So whether I could cut that out and just try and refabricate it out of fresh steel and bend it and stretch it and everything else that you do. I've not done the flywheel yet. That's in. That's another one of my jobs. I've got the flywheel, obviously the new starter motor's in, but I haven't done the clutch in the flywheel, even though now I have got clutch. That'll come next. So depending on the weather, like I say, we've had a horrendous weather. I've not been able to do anything. As you can see, the car's moved now and it's in position where I can actually start working on it. Not undercover, because it's still under sheet, but at least I'm in a position where I've got gearbox supported underneath in some sort of position, but to take the strain off this front cross member when I cut it out. So that is going to come in the next, I don't know. I mean, it's a donor car, 500 quid, 600 quid, something like a 900i is compatible. Or, let's say, refabricate it all. I just don't know what to do at the moment. All the inner wings are sound. We have got underneath here. This is gone. This is where the water bottle sits. That's gone. But again, probably one of my next tools is going to be maybe an English wheel or something. But I might be able to hand form that underneath that small piece, because this side is okay, apart from, as I've shown you in earlier videos, the back of the front of the wheel arch, which is only a small patch. Intercooler, all this is that's all fine, but obviously the lower bracket, that's going to be shot blasted. I've got a hole here, but all this bolts off the two cross members, or front front members, which support the gearbox. So that all this panel underneath should separate, I think. I don't know whether it's welded on or tacked on with these fasteners. I think it's welded here and here. So if I can take that off and probably get it shot blasted, see what I've got left. Then ideally, it really needs a donor panel. So you can see what sort of state this front corner's in. That corner that corner's fine. This corner, bad news. But a lot of it is quite solid. I mean, these are the mounting points for the battery tray, and around this yellow line that I've drawn is quite solid. This is basically that's just the edge that carries on through there. So, and it stops. So that's just that could be quite easily bent and out of some fresh steel and knitted in. So probably that is the way I'm going to go. Again, to try and keep as much originality of the original car as I can. But I've got to think about rust, and I've got to get rid of rust, and there is a hell of a lot of it. The hub, obviously, this is mine's the earlier model, and all this I stripped down on the passenger side, and everything came apart. These are the brake caliper retaining bolts. They've rounded, absolutely seeds solid. So I'm going to have to get some heat on that. This is the Girling Lucas caliper. Obviously, mine's the earlier model. The handbrake works on the front wheels. This is the handbrake lever. Pushes the pistons in. I've got the piston rebuild kit. Will the ball joints seem okay for now, but I'm going to replace all the bushes, all the drive shaft boots, the steering gaiters, strip the spring off. I'm trying to avoid taking the top wishbone off, because the top wishbone has to be set at a certain angle with the shims. So I'm trying to avoid not stripping that off at the moment. I'll put new brake lines on, flexi brake lines, new trap rod ends, the anti-roll bar bushes. They're all available, which is great. What isn't available is this. This is why I've taken the whole hub off, because I've got to get this caliper off. I need to get this saved. These are totally obsolete. Available for 87 onwards, 87 to 93, but earlier models, these are like unicorn horns. They are so rare, which is obviously the dust covers for the brakes. Now, it's not gone through anywhere. I've cleaned it up a little bit here. That has to be saved on both sides. The lower wishbone is in good condition. Bushes are available, so that I'll get shot blasted. I've had it in the rust soak, but I think I'll probably just get it shot blasted. And but say bushes are available, so well that can be renewed. There's no play in them, but I mean I think they're about in English sterling they're about £3.70 per bush, so £7. You know, that's probably about $11, something like that. That they're all back to normal. Like I said, I've got my panels. To get those bolts out, I bought myself some a set of these like the reverse spline bolt extractors. So hopefully, with some heat on those two caliper retaining bolts, I should be able to get those off. A nice 1/2 inch drive, so I'll be able to get this long bar on there. And so once I've got some heat on, I'm trying to tidy my step toe garage up slowly but surely. But it is leaking. Look at the state of that. What a man cave. The bonnet, obviously the bonnet's off. I'll just walk you down. That's going in the cabin later today. That isn't too bad. Gone in the normal places here on this inner panel. Little tiny bit of rust, which I've put rust cure on for the time being on the lip. It's gone here. So I'm thinking once this sound deadening's off, I'll take all that off at a later date. I'll say that's going to go inside the cabin for the time being, because it's another project. The bottom end, it's gone round the bonnet catch, which is going to need a bit of patching. But the actual front lip is obviously it's been out all night and it's frozen in there. It's not gone through to the outer bonnet, so that's still got potential. There's no rust on the outside. There is here, which I never had. That square is meant to be where the heat shield is for the turbo. And if you look back on my later videos, I won't pull the bonnet out now. Oh, sorry, on my earlier videos, you'll see that it's actually marked the paintwork. So the heat shield was always missing since I bought the car in, I think it was '95. So a little bit of work on the bonnet, saying that's going to go away for the time being, because I've got more priorities with that front end. I don't know if I can show you this. I did a bit of work on the bumper. If the bumper's in here. No, the bumper's not in there. The bumper might be in the cabin. Everywhere is a shit tip, so you'll have to excuse me. Where is my bumper? I don't know where my bumper is. Lots of mini bits in here. Don't know what I've done with my bumper. I'll show that on a later video, so forget that. I'll walk you back up to what a few little bits that I've been doing. So I've just not had the weather. It's absolutely, you can see the frost and I mean, it's like bloody Steptoe's yard, but all this, hopefully, the next few days a big tip run. I'll get rid of it. Now, this is the beam that runs from. This is the suspension turret here. So the suspension turret goes up here. That's welded on there. This is a previous repair. Now again, that sits exactly like that. So that side, that's the part number 8274706, obsolete, totally, completely. Where I've marked in yellow is where obviously I'm going to cut out. I've got, I think, enough dating points to refabricate this. It's just basically a square section here, around here. And I think there's about another 10 mil that welds onto the rotten front cross member. So this is the suspension turret side. So again, I'm toying what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to get try and get a front end, which will mean probably a donor car, and I don't like ruining another car. That's the thing. I mean, I don't need a lot of parts. I only need this front cross member. This is the battery box, battery tray. Now I can save that. I mean, yeah, it looks quite gone, but if you look at the restoration they did on the oil cooler radiator surround, it's there's enough there for me to mess about and fix. I've got the brackets, the front bracket's gone, but you know it's like an afternoon's work. What I got for Christmas, I got myself a shrinker stretcher, which is going to come in handy for when you're doing like corners around here. I got the wide mouth one, which is slightly dearer, but obviously you can get a wider piece of steel in there. That's going to come in really handy. I've also got, for where it's formed, I got myself a bead roller as a present, so that should, it's not electric, it's just a manual one, but it'll put all the strengthening beads in where I need them. And again, I've not really got that much. I could probably hand form them like I did with the oil cooler surround, but probably a handy tool once I get me bench back up and running. I've done a few little bits. These are things like the bonnet catch, which have all been stripped right back, painted, lacquered. Come up beautiful. I mean, not finding these type of bits, isn't it? These sort of things like the bracket off the horn. Up to now, the only bits that I'm not going to be able to save is the horn. There's the coils inside the horn and the point system. These are their FIAM horn. That's the lower one. The upper one seems to be okay. That's the low tone. So as we speak, as far as replacing bits, one horn, and I've got to find the tiny little clips that hold the headlight washers on. And apart from that, and what's been obviously what I'm going to have to reform, this car is as it left the factory, minus the rust and minus what's missing. But as far as part wise, I've only got the three bits. I mean, you can get all these bits, you know, for the brakes, the brake springs, and the little the brake pad retaining U bolt. But I've stripped them all back, and they're original. You can still get them. You can buy them in kits, but I just thought while I was taking them off, I'd strip everything back I keep everything part numbered or in bags, so I know where everything goes. Bolt off the knock sensor, that's got to go back on. These are things like me. When I get the brake calipers off, I think I've shown these on an early video. These are I think these are the those are the piston seal kits and springs. So once I get those two bolts off with them, hopefully with heat and the bolt remover tool, I should be good to go with those. I can start stripping everything back. It will have new discs and pads eventually, but I've got to, creep and go. The main thing is getting this bloody rust sorted out. So that's a bit of an update. Hopefully now it's now in a position where I can actually start working on it. I'm going to start with this panel here, the lower panel. These are the mounting points for the lower wishbone, and basically it's this section that's gone on mine, just that square. Everything's falling about, and a small part of that section, I think from about here to here. So, and none of this. So I don't know, with having like the bead roll and stuff, I might be able to just refabricate it, and then I could probably resell those parts and put that towards other bits that I need. So that's sort of where we are. Say apologies. I hope everybody's had a nice Christmas and Happy New Year to you. I'm just going to crack on, weather permitting. Get these little bits. Obviously, I'm going to have to find out what's going on behind there, and things like that. We'll need the interior taken out, or the carpets because of fire burning through. But it's get this bit strengthened up to just in front of the front wishbone mount, and then I know that that area is solid. I can show you just quickly. I can show you the that's the internal of the there's the suspension wishbone mounting bracket. So the suspension turret's gone round here, so it is losing a bit of strength in this corner, but that will be cut out. The rest of it is quite fine. So I don't want to touch. This is the upper suspension, the wishbone bracket, and that's set with the shims. I don't really want to interfere with that at the moment. Maybe general maintenance once the car's back up and running, I'll do that. But certainly not at the moment. I've got enough to do with all this rust. So I'll give you a quick last show of the state of this front bracket. It's sad, really. Well, we actually think because obviously the bumper comes round, and mine being the 86 model, they were self-repairing bumpers because they had sections of foam. I think 5-6 sections of foam inside the bumper, which I think I might be wrong. You were able, if you really dented the bumper, you were able to buy the separate sections of foam, whereas on the 87 onwards models they were a single section foam. I'll next time I'll make a video. I'll drag the front bumper out because I've redone all that. It's come up really well. Apart from the outside, I'm not doing any real painting until the weather gets warm. I don't want any damp going back in this car once it's all this rust is stripped back. But say it's weather, I've got enough strength and enough left because that is basically just an L-shaped lip, and I've got that edge. It's gone there. That's broke. So obviously this is all gone here. It means bit by bit trying to reform it. That bit's quite solid. That bit's gone, but that's where it drops through to the oil cooler underneath, which is there. Oh, and that's another thing. When I move the car, turn it round, I've got the tow rope caught the oil cooler pipe, so I've got a leak there. So I've got to. I'm hoping the local hydraulic firm will be able to either I can get it brazed, or whether I can have a new pipe made, or whether I can have a new end pressed onto the oil pipe. I don't know, something I've got to look into yet again. But that was a bit of a catastrophe, really. Pulling that off. It's my fault. I should have strapped the oil cooler up, but the tow rope came as we were dragging the car down the drive. The tow rope came across and trapped it. So that's another pain in the arse, but we'll get there, hopefully, one day. At least, like I say, I'm in a position now where I can see how bad things are. So I'll leave it there. I'll get another video done as soon as possible. I'm not going to show the any welding. I mean, there's plenty of YouTube videos on the actual welding, especially on these 900s. There's a chap called Seaside Garage. He does fantastic stuff. He's done all this. So if you look him up, you'll see all this drive shaft tunnel welding and repairing. So have a look at his videos. You don't need to see me. Nothing worse than watching grinding and welding and all that and sparks, and it's not the most enjoyable viewing for me anyway. Some people enjoy it. I personally don't. So the next video, hopefully you'll see, hopefully have a little bit of fabrication put back into this side, get a bit of strength in it, get this hub and the brake dust shield stripped down, shot blasted as much as possible, epoxy primer, and I'll get it painted. They won't be powder coated. I'm not a fan of powder coating. Some people are, some people aren't. I prefer traditional paint. I used to work on turret clocks, church clocks, and things like that, and the faces. And this is the type of things that would use. This is a local firm. What are they called? HTG, I think they're called HTG, HMG Paints Limited in Manchester. Now that's heritage enamel, which we'd use on clock faces. I mean, if it'll withstand 90 foot up a church spire on a clock face, it'll certainly do for this. I've done all my subframes on my Mini in this. It's, for me, powder coating it looks fantastic, but it's just too brittle, and you can never see when anything's corroding underneath until it all starts chipping off, and it's only a thin coat anyway. So I'd rather shot blast, etch primer, and then I'll put a coat of enamel on. This type of paint they use on steam engines. If it's good enough for the Flying Scotsman, it's good enough for my Saab, I say. So guess you can't really read the label, but it's a heritage enamel, and it's used on all the period heritage products, steam engines, uh, original Victorian water pumps when they're restoring them. Everything. It's fantastic stuff, and it's really hard wearing. So that's what's going to go on all these wishbones and things like that. So that's another short video, I'm afraid. Not a lot of progress apart from, well, for me there's a lot of progress because I've managed to get the car off the drive and get it into a situation where I can work on it. It's still bloody cold, and the sheet on top of the Saab is frozen. You can see the windscreen. It's actually frozen to the roof. Can't get it off. Oh, that's how cold it is here in England. It's about 2 degrees. The sun's out. It's a lovely day. It really is a lovely day, but it's cold, and hopefully I'll get my garage tidied out for once. It leaks. That's the problem. It leaks, and it's been there nearly 60 years. That garage. It's done its purpose, but the roof is leaking, and it's asbestos, and asbestos in this country is hard to get rid of. So there we go. That's a little bit of an update for you. We are making progress very slowly. I mean, hopefully when spring comes, I should be able to get a lot more content done and a lot more progress. So for now, that's a little bit of again, all my videos are live. I don't edit. What you see is what you get. Unfortunately, I might mumble through it, but that's the way it is when you're doing a live video. I don't do any editing. So leave it with you. Hopefully you'll see some progress in the next video. So for now, look after yourselves. Take care. See you soon.